What's up? This is Joe Trash. I'm here today drinking at Moe's. And best believe I'm here to talk some trash.
Drinking at Njpw, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also me. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with drinking at Moe's, where we don't quit. Drinking at Moe's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, no, it's a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the you know what. We're on most audio platforms too, the major ones, anyways. But today I'm excited to have with me Joe Trash. How the heck you doing?
Uh, how everybody else is doing. I want to get some rest. I want to do all of that. So let's get this trash talker going on.
Oh, hell yeah. So before we get to a little bit of the trash talking, I do have a thing that I like to start off with each guest with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make that leap into the business?
Okay. What got me started as a fan? Um, it was honestly the Saturday mornings. I would wake up. I was born in Puerto Rico. I was
Mm.
raised over there until I was 6. And being that my grandfather, one of the only times I would get to spend with him since he was a cop, it would be like weekends and stuff. So over there, Raw plays on Saturdays in the
Oh,
morning. So whenever he would be home, I would wake up to Raw and I would see Randy Orton kicking people's heads in and all of this, cool stuff. And that's what really got me started as a wrestling fan. I can't lie. There was a moment in my life where I kind of like skipped out on wrestling. Once I seen kind of Undertaker take that from Brock Lesnar, I was just like, nope.
a lot of people ducked out about then, I think.
Yeah, but then I came back in once I seen uh who was it? I seen AJ Styles come back in 2K19, the video
Okay.
game. I used to really sit there and play with my best friend. His name is Lance Handsome. He's also another wrestler. Um, right there, I rekindled the love that I had with the sport, and I told myself I didn't want to. The moment that I accepted that I wanted to be a wrestler, I had hit rock bottom. I was at a very bad place in my life. I don't want to get too deep into that because that doesn't matter anymore. We
Yeah,
are here now. You know what I'm saying? But
definitely.
being in that place really uh, put me at a mindset where it was do or die. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And that's the same fervor that I have for this sport. It's just do or die. And
Mm.
I chose to find a wrestling school. Luckily, a friend of mine heard of a seminar that was happening here in the Bronx. I live in New York City. Um, we went and it was honestly one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. Very tiring, but very awesome. Very awesome. Getting to touch the ropes, getting to touch, canvas and actually being inside the ring that I used to idolize, so much. It's life changing. That's for sure.
Oh, I can imagine. I know I've done a pro wrestling boot camp or two, and getting the there is something about when you see so many people that you've thought so highly of getting to be in there, and then now you're getting in there. It is something special.
Mhm.
And man, I just got to thinking back when I got started watching. I mean, this was a while ago, but going back to the the later days of like Bruiser Brody and the Legion of Doom with the spiked shoulder pads and stuff.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'll admit, Bruiser Brody when I was a little kid scared the crap out of me.
It was a big man, big man.
But then when I got growing up and I started gravitating towards those intense personas, it was like going back and watching them like, oh my god, I love that guy.
Hmm.
Just the way he
It's
could
definitely
just
where
knock out swing the chains and shit.
they definitely had a certain amount of people inside of the sports that brung or personified, should I say, that aspect of wrestling, where wrestling is bigger than life. Wrestling
Mhm.
is something sometimes mythical, sometimes dark, sometimes funny, sometimes sad. You know what I'm saying? But that cause and that roller coaster of emotions, that's what keeps you tuned in.
Oh, most definitely. Now, within your in-ring persona, I like to talk about that because I like hearing how people end up coming up with it because more often than not, which I mean seems to be how things tend to go when finally latching onto that one thing, is that is I know my personal all-time favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin had said, you know, when he finally got to Stone Cold, it was just him turned up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
Was that more or less how you came upon how you go in the ring?
Uh, the way that I came about when it comes to my style inside the ring and the different moves that I pull off, I've always admired people who, in my head, I call them torturers, such as Pete Dunne,
Mm.
uh, Kenta. You got different grapplers, such as John Moxley. Uh, a bunch of people who really show the sports aspect of this,
Mm.
the language of the sport. I love grappling. I used to do wrestling when I was
Mm.
younger. Then I went on into boxing, and then I came to wrestling itself. I come from a fighting family. Honestly, my mom used to do martial arts herself. My uncle, martial artist himself. So I've always had that love for fight sports and the passion that it takes to really sit here and put your life at risk every time you step inside this ring just to show,
Mm.
or put through a message. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with myself. I wanted to remember I told you I came from rock bottom basically.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do was show people you can be garbage. And just because you have that hard work and you have that ethic, that grind in you, you can make it somewhere and you can
Mhm.
become something greater than just trash.
Oh, most definitely. Hell, I've even in the lifetime of this podcast, I mean, I've spoken enough about it, so like you, I don't need to go into the full details of everything. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a time where there was a little period where I didn't know if it was going to continue because let's just say one person I ended up recording with them in the hospital cafeteria,
Wow.
and they were like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "More than you know, I need this right now."
Mm-hmm.
And then it just got me thinking. There were certain people that wouldn't want me to be a quitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? I just dove head on in, and now I'm like inching that much closer to 300 episodes now. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
oh, I'm just like hard now, going
Well,
hard at it.
all I gotta say on this topic, man, is people go through a lot of different stuff. We never
Yeah.
know specific battles. We never know anyone's, demons that they fight. Um,
Mm-hmm.
might be in, and I might be a bad person inside the ring, but that's one thing about me. I find beauty in all of this chaos, the same way that we've all been able to find beauty in all this chaos and been able to make it through. So, brother, honestly, the best I could tell you is I'm happy you're here, man.
Thank you. And one last thing before maybe some trash talking here, because you brought up beauty and chaos. It reminded me of a phrase that I heard the late Bray Wyatt talking about a bunch, how he was the color red in a world full of black
Black
and
and
white.
white. Oh yeah.
And that, like, as soon as you started saying that, that just got me thinking there. That just fits right in there. And I actually, inspired by him, my wife and I are actually expecting a little boy come in January. Due date's January.
Congrats,
And
man. Congrats.
thank you. And I was like, I've told a few people this, that I have this idea because I'm like, I'm getting this kid's stuff before they're even here. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
ready.
missing the opportunity to get my kids some stuff. So I'm like, I had this idea because I saw this plush toy of this like cartoonish version of Bray Wyatt, like that last run of his. And then it got me thinking, one way or another, my son in that toy and having a picture where it'll say, like, I'll put welcome to the world, little firefly, and then with his fireflies, and tagging JoJo and Bo in it somehow, just so they know that
there's still people.
He's being remembered. So I'm
and the man is a legend. The man is a legend in the game, and his creativity honestly inspired a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
So I honestly, I myself have caught some inspiration from him. You know what I'm saying? Not caught in the sense of like putting my ego too high out there or anything like
that. Yeah.
I'm still trash. But being that in the sense of letting your creativity be out there, letting your, brain run wild. Definitely. I've taken some advice just off of looking at him.
I've even had little inspirations with the podcast involving him, because without knowing at the time that I talked to them, I've actually had, and I've met other friends of his, but I've actually had a friend of his on the show.
That's tough.
Former Ring of Honor 6-man tag champ Dutch had him on a while back, and it some way that posting about that episode, all of a sudden I got a Twitter alert, and when I finally was able to check it, I about dropped my phone because it was him liking the post.
That's
I was just like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, dude. If that's not inspiration, I don't know what is.
Oh yeah, totally. So, trash talking, because hell, Joe Trash, we got to do some here. So you mentioned, before we recorded that, this weekend you were rather busy, ended up being in a triple threat match in New Jersey. I believe it was Primetime. Was it Primetime Pro and the baseball show? Because they were at least outside of a baseball stadium.
This is Primetime Pro Wrestling that I'm wrestling with, and I was in a match against Joe Clean and Matty Videz. This was outside of the Skyland Stadium, which is the home for the Miners.
Nice. And I was looking at some of the pictures because, obviously me being nowhere near that area, I was wanting to, see what I could see. And I'm like, okay, this looks like it was an entertaining match. How did it go?
All right. So if you want, I could give you like a kind of step of how it went and like
we can do that
thing. Also talking my garbage while I can.
Yeah.
I had to be stuck in this match with these two pieces of garbage. So of course I come out angry. And then on top of that, it's hot as hell.
No.
Come on, man. What kind of working conditions? Anyways,
Yeah.
I come out, I see this guy start cleaning the title. I thought, it's fine. You're shining it up just nice, whatever. We get into the match. I try to take away Joe Clean's bottle of whatever that is. And he decides to push me. I get pushed into Maddie. Maddie suplexes me. All right, cool. I understand where I'm at. So I'm going to be smart about it. I'm not going to be dumb. I get out the ring. Let these two losers fight. They start fighting until I see an opening. I pull Joe Clean out the ring, bang his stupid head against the corner post. Get inside the ring. I tried to punch Matty, but he caught it, hits me. As soon as he hits me, he shoots me off, throws me into the corner, hits me with a splash. Whatever. That type of stuff doesn't hurt anyways. I'm used to it. As soon as he goes for another one, though, why would it work a second time, man? I know I'm looking right at you. Yeah. I'm looking right at you. So I move out the way because I'm a smart human being. As soon as I move out the way, I give him a pork chop. I don't like calling mine chops. I call them pork chops because as soon as I do that, Joe Clean decides to be outside the ring. Of course, taking his 15 minutes. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give these people exactly what they want. So I pull this guy down, hit him with 2 hip attacks to the corner, pull him up for a Death Valley driver. And I just told him, garbage like you doesn't belong inside my ring, and kicked his face in. As soon as I kicked his face in, Joe Clean decides to come in, try to interrupt. I turn around and zaguri him. As soon as I zaguried him, I go for the pin. Unfortunately, it was a 2. I go to get up. I chop Joe Clean in the corner. As soon as I chop him, we keep moving. Where I get hit again with Joe Clean's little facade of moves that are supposed to do something, but they don't really do much. It kind of did hurt, but it doesn't do anything. We keep going with the match where, unfortunately, I'm stunned out of the ring when I go to do a clothesline and Matty ducks. I get hit with a kick, stunner. It was like a gunshot, man. Oh, roll out the ring. As soon as I roll out the ring, Matty gets hit with a stunner too, and 1, 2, 3. You see this, the thing that bothers me most about all of this, but I'm, I've taken therapy before. I need
yeah.
The thing that bothers me, but at the same time, I'm looking as a positive is I wasn't the one that got pinned. So technically, I never lost. Yeah. So as long as I get to be Joe Clean's worst nightmare, my life is fulfilled.
Hey, that is a good way to think about it. You know what? You weren't the one that got pinned. So logically, you'd think, hey, if anybody deserves the next title shot, it should be the guy that didn't even get pinned in the damn match.
That's what I'm saying. And why put a belt like that on a loser who can't even grow hair?
Well, I mean,
but hey, you grew it underneath.
Yeah, right. I got it. It went from up here to down here.
He doesn't even have that. He just nothing.
And my excuse for on top of my head, it's been that way ever since the last haircut at Navy boot camp. They just like, we could take it all off for if you want. And I'm like,
0. Go ahead. Give him the 0. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like do it. It's almost there anyway, so just do it.
That's not even the situation with him. His own hair doesn't even like him. He
literally looks like a clone of the Mr. Clean bottle.
He also looks like this.
It looks like a thumb. Oh God! There's a guy on one of the shows my wife likes to watch. It literally looks like. I literally said he looks like a thumb with actual hair on his head, though. But he literally looks like when God put him together, he ran out of necks and just slapped his head right on his shoulders.
It's like when you play in Trouble when you press the top too hard. Yeah,
exactly. Oh man, but it was something because, yeah, I was looking at that, and thank you for the rundown. Hopefully, you get a little bit of revenge there. And something else with primetime wrestling when I was looking at Facebook was the the headline on one of the posts reminded me, because hell, the damn song is everywhere right now. The part that I put in quotes in my notes here was "I see dead people," and it keeps on reminding me of that opening to Kendrick Lamar's like not like us.
Yeah.
And I
There's two inspirations behind that. It was not only Kendrick, but it was also The Sixth Sense.
ah
Seen that movie. I'm a big fan of horror movies. I have a Chucky on my window right now. So that's kind of where I also got it from, because from now to the end of time, I will make Joe Clean's life a living horror movie.
nice. That I love hearing about, storylines and stuff like that, because I gravitate towards that chaos, that action that sounds like you're going to be bringing to him. Because hell, my show, I've been lucky enough to develop a little bit of a following in the deathmatch community, which to this day, for the fan of me that was watching old CZW Caja death shows and stuff, and actually getting to talk to some of these people, I'm like, holy crap. Like, actually, I got one of his things here behind me here, but took me a little over a year. But John Wayne Murdoch,
Oh man,
having him on, having Madman Pondo, having Alex Colon, and just I actually got to talk with him, with Alex Colon, at one of the last shows for Sammy Callahan's promotion, Revolver. And it was like my first time actually getting to talk with him in person. So that was fun. And, they're obviously, intense individuals. Deathmatch stuff, the hardcore style just oozes that intensity. And, speaking of, New Jersey, I've lost count of how many people from Matt Tremont's promotion that I've had on. That it just started off with one and then just snowballed, and nothing but love for those guys. So, Matt, do you think maybe in the future with this guy that you're going to be getting into maybe not deathmatch style, but having some of the hardcore mentality in there?
So, whenever people ask me about hardcore wrestling, I've always admired hardcore wrestling. It takes a lot of heart, and definitely a lot of heart. You need a lot of blood, because Lord Jesus, the way they lose blood sometimes, man, is insane. But as a person who's also lost blood inside that ring and put blood towards the sport, it's definitely a feeling like no other. And I I exceed in matches like that. When I'm put into extreme situations, I thrive. You know what I'm saying? I like intensity. I invite it into my life. So, man, if he wants to invite that type of violence into his life, I'm more than willing to put it there for him. But I don't think
Man,
that type of smoke yet.
you better you. I hope you promise me that if that ends up happening, that somebody post a video of that match either on YouTube, Facebook, something, because I want to see that.
Got you, brother. Man, look, I'll buy you a front row ticket, man.
Ah, hell yeah! You know what? I've been needing to cross off a few more states off of the eastern portion of the states, because hell, I've already crossed off every single state from North Dakota down to Texas and on west. I've done all of them on that side. I need to work on the other side now.
I feel that. And if you ever come down, man, primetime wrestling itself is full of a lot of different talents. Uh, Besides the two pieces of garbage I just talked about. Uh, there's a lot of different talents in there. There's a lot of different personalities. They're all a bunch of crazy people, sometimes weird, but cool people at the end of the day. So if you come down, I'll be more than happy to show you around, brother, for real.
Definitely, that would be awesome. And little bit about East Coast stuff. I've been lucky enough to, obviously with some of the people that I've mentioned being based out of the East Coast, there was one show for, I believe it was Intense Wrestling Alliance, that the name of the town in New Jersey just got me thinking, we were just talking about, hardcore deathmatch style. I mean, anybody that's a wrestling fan and that has been a fan for a while, whenever you hear the name of the town, Nutley, New Jersey, there is only one person that you are thinking of, Balls Mahoney. And I just remember watching some of his ECW stuff and, hearing that, I've got big balls. And just, oh, God.
It's crazy to see people like that. And funny that you talk about ECW. Oh, we're going to keep this between me and you and all these people who are watching. In October, I got to get in contact with Jason Knight.
I've had him on.
The TV champion, the first ECW TV champion. And we've been talking business because I've been looking for a new workplace since I had to quit my other job at WWX. But in October, you might see me have to go over there and clean up something.
All right. I've been kind of keeping up with the stuff, because I think when I had him on, he was just talking about opening up, the place that you're talking about there. So I try to keep up with that as much as I can. And I've been very fortunate enough, not only him, but at least one other ECW original who coincidentally a member of the Anoa'i family, Lloyd Anoa'i. And he was telling me about probably one of the craziest in-match moments I've ever heard of in a match against New Jack. Which, I mean, New Jack, that
it's New Jack, man. New Jack is
right? They were told to, be careful, and then they both end up proceeding to go through a wall, and then Paul Heyman's yelling at them, and yeah,
wild. Yeah, New Jack was definitely an entity of himself. Yeah,
that would be a good way to describe him.
Yeah, it's honestly, man, the way I see New Jack, yes, a lot of people tend to see the infamous New Jack, you know what I'm saying? The crazy man that was sitting here and had that whole incident happen. But the way I like I told you, I love hardcore wrestling. I love seeing all that grittiness. So the way New Jack fought, I always thought about it. I was like, this is awesome. This is pure, just in your face. And yeah, that's actually inspired one of the things behind me, where it's like whenever I'm introduced to certain places, whenever they say where I'm from, I always introduce myself as from toxic waste to in your face. So
I like it.
It's definitely I get that from New Jack because I always seen him so into the intensity of things, and it's man, yeah. I hope to be able to show that, if not more,
yeah,
wrestling.
Definitely. The thing that I always think about with when it came to New Jack, anyways, is a lot of people, they know the air quotes predetermined side of everything, and the people that really there's the people that have it are those that it's like they suspend that disbelief, that they're like, I know this, but that guy makes me wonder. That was him, where it was like, you knew that, odds are he could be a different person once that camera's off of him, but it's just that in your face style that he had. You're like, that guy's scared.
I've had matches myself, like I told you, I've shed blood inside the ring, and that happened during my first title defense. I had become Bronx United States champion at WWX World Wrestling Extreme. It's right here in the Bronx. I was defending it against Jeremy, the Boricua badass. And I remember, just like it was yesterday, he comes off the ropes, throws a knee. Man, that square right here. I don't know.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, right.
You know, hits me with it. And I just turn around. And when you are a boxer, right, you understand how to hit, but also how to get hit.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it's, be a butterfly inside the ring and try not to get hit, you still get hit sometimes. And you know when a hit rocks you. It wasn't that I got rocked. It was more of just like, did that just happen? And then like I look at my hands and I see the blood dripping and I just remember just like, I'm here.
Mm.
And I just turned around and it was unleash hell after that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember hearing afterwards from the promoter, Boss Lady Bella. She came up to me and she tells me, she was like, whenever that happened during the match, she had a couple of people that came backstage to her and to my head coach at the time. And they were like, hey, Joe's bleeding right now. Do we stop this? What do we do? And I've always told people the passion that I have for hardcore wrestling. So she laughed when she told me this, and she tells me, she's like, I just told them that's what he likes. He's okay. And they just went right back to their seats. I finished the match. I retained my title. And hey, man, it's a warrior's blood. It's what happens when you come from the islands.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely those people that it's like once you see them, like there's that change in their face that once like they get that really hard hit, they see their own blood and then it just like turns that switch and they're a whole different animal after that point. And that sounds kind of like that. And it actually a funny story for you. I apparently have a bit of a hard head. On my ship in the Navy, there'd be times where I hit my head on something. But then all of a sudden, a little while later, something would be like, dude, you're bleeding. And I'll just go, oh, all right.
Wash it off, keep moving. Man, throw some dirt on it.
That pretty much happened more than once.
It happens, especially with heavy machinery like that, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very easy for things to happen to you. I used to do welding myself, so I definitely know what it's like to be around machinery and those corner bumps sometimes that hit you right at your waist. Yeah, those hurt, especially when they come from a metal table.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. And hell, the spots that really get to me when it comes to, like painful looking bumps. And I know about these because I've helped set up a few rings. So like, I know, so when people do those spots on the ring apron, there's like a pile driver, a DDT or suplex or some wacky looking move on the ring apron. I'm like, yeah, I already have a bad back, and just watching that is making it worse.
Yeah. One thing that keeps my mind off of all of that stuff is I'm going to do so much worse.
No, that is a good way to think about it. One of those good ways to like just really pump yourself up after that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, wouldn't want it to come across like, oh, you're going to purposely hurt, like legit, like shoot on somebody, I guess, for the lack of a better way to put it. I don't want it to come across like that, but that like, oh, that was good, but oh, I'm really gonna get you now, sort of thing.
It's more of a, not as a receipt, more as this is what you should expect from me. You should always expect people to hit me with something, but I hit back harder. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see
You.
life. That's how I strike at life, man. When life
Oh
hits you
yeah.
hard, you hit harder.
Oh, definitely. That's the way to do it. That
Mhm.
is definitely the way to do it. Like, oh, you think you got me, but oh, I I told somebody when it comes to people wanting to, pull some shit with me. You're like, oh, you want to play that game? Well, I can play it better.
Type thing, type thing.
Definitely.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely have a way of getting back at people.
No, yeah, no, I have made my life out of not so much all the time getting back at somebody, but more, I guess, for the lack of a better way to put it, proving them wrong.
Exactly. People see when people hear that statement, usually they'll go into a mindset of automatically revenge and into a bad place. Now, yes, given that bad place exists, but there's also a good place that you can go with that.
Oh,
And that's with life, that's
yeah.
with work ethic, that's with any
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. If you have that do or die mentality, man, you could
Oh, yeah.
you got
Hell,
life.
I used to work with kids with behavior issues, and there was one story kind of going along with that I would tell them. And it was from my time in the Navy, where at one point there was a big inspection coming up, and somebody actually forged my signature on something. So I was like, shit. So I told them, you think if I would have let that anger me to the point where you know, I would have probably gotten in trouble. But I told them, you know what I did? I looked, and the people that forged my signature didn't realize that the date they put on that signature was a date that ended up being in my favor. So I literally just went and rechecked out everything and did the thing that was getting inspected so many times that there was no way in hell anybody would think that it didn't get done.
Oh yeah.
And then I ended up being the first person in 7 months to pass the inspection with a commanding officer.
Oh yeah, dude.
I told him, you think if I would have let that get to me that would have happened?
No,
No.
exactly. One of the things I've learned from therapy, because I myself, I've always liked to, also put out the message for
Yeah.
people, suffer from different mental health issues or mental health in general.
Yeah.
Area is very important to me because I
Oh,
have
totally. Same here.
I've lost friends, I've lost uh, people, good people to stuff like that. So I've always liked to express,
Mm.
and this is to you and anybody that's going to be watching. If you ever need help, reach out, man. Reach
Mm-hmm.
out because there's people, not only, of course, depending on you, because us as men, people, we got to
Yeah.
carry a lot of stuff, man. We got to carry a lot of stuff, and I'm not saying women don't carry a lot of stuff
Oh,
either.
yeah. No, totally.
We tend to silence that a lot, and
Yeah.
I've always told this to my friends too. Like I said, if you need help, reach out. Reach out to someone. It doesn't matter who it is, but somebody that you can trust. Somebody, whether that's family, whether
Mm-hmm.
that's friends, which is sometimes family we make. You know what
It,
I'm saying? So
exactly. Yeah.
whatever it is, man, just speak about it. It's
Oh,
better to respond to an issue than to react to an issue. To
no,
react,
yeah.
instant solution. To respond means a solution that takes assessing and actually healing.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. I've lost a few friends to that sort of stuff myself, and yeah, I literally, to go off of what you said, that person that you talk to wouldn't necessarily have to be professional. They would, just some friend that,
Mm.
hell, the way I like to think about this podcast is like you just have two friends sitting back enjoying some drinks and talking wrestling.
Oh
It
yeah.
could literally be something that simple where you're going and watching a pay-per-view with a friend, and then you just like in between matches, you're like, dude, there's this shit going on and it's driving me nuts.
Oh yeah. Me and my friends have made a tradition like that. And we whenever there's a pay-per-view, we'll sit here, we'll get a bottle, we'll get, something nice. Personally, I'm a whiskey person.
Mm.
I like whiskey. I like, feeling the burn. But we usually will make bets, not money bets. Let's not talk about gambling. But we'll sit here and we'll choose who's gonna win the fight, and depending on the loser takes shots. Uh, can't say I've had the best of luck. Sometimes it's happened. I need a cab home, but it's definitely a tradition, and a tradition worth holding up. A tradition that has helped us bring that love that we have towards wrestling with other people. Whether that's friends that have came and been like, "Hey, I'm not doing anything today. All right, come watch this pay per view. What is it?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Come on."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it.
Oh yeah.
Those times do matter, and that's why I always uphold that type of tradition with my little family I've made.
Oh, most definitely. All right. Now, I have some names here, two categories. The first one's a bit of a name game where I name off some people and you give me quick thoughts on the person. And I try to theme it towards the guest as much as possible. And, initially there was having the show New Jersey got me thinking New Jersey, but also New York, the New York, New Jersey connection here. Each of these people, big in those areas when it comes to wrestling. And, some of them big all over the place.
I'm not going to lie to you. If I don't know some of these guys, it's because, hey, man, this garbage don't clean up itself. And I'm in New York. Come on.
No, I get you. So the first two New Jersey related, and I would like to think that most people would know who these guys are. And I personally think that if you think of New Jersey in pro wrestling and you don't name these two, that it's almost a sin in the wrestling community. So first of those, it's DDP.
Diamond Dallas Page. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Diamond Dallas Page. Hey man, DDP yoga. Let me just hey, look. We're all getting older, man. No, no one's getting younger. No matter how much you say here, you might say, hey, yeah, I'm working out all of this, that. We all get older. We all start to, slow down a bit. So DDP yoga, I've heard, is actually really good.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully one day I'm able to find a way to get to DDP and be like
that. That would be awesome. I know. I don't know. Maybe this is just the leftover me doing yoga, just imagining myself trying to do some of that stuff, and I'm like, oh god,
man.
I like making people laugh, but I don't know about that much.
I see that. That's kind of different, man. Those are heavy. I've seen some of the stretches, man. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptic. When I first had started doing wrestling, I had always told my head coach, I would always tell her, like, hey, man, I'm not flexible at all. But you have to be when it comes to this, to be, athletic in different types of ways. And definitely it requires to be limber inside the ring because you never know where you might interact or a bump that you might take. So,
yeah.
Definitely need to start doing that more.
I could use it myself. All right. Now, next up, one of my personal all-time favorites. And you know what? Coincidentally, one of the Funko Pops that I have behind me here is actually one of his. The Beast from the East, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bigelow, man. The stories I've seen of that man, whether it's here in America or in New Japan, that dude was a monster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, his matches with Taz and the original ECW, and either going through the ring entrance or going through the.
Throwing Spike Dudley into.
Oh yeah, just heaving them into the
Oh yeah, I would have tossed
crowd.
Spike
That
Dudley too. I would have what? Get out of here.
or the. I remember when I first saw him in the movie Major Pain.
Oh yeah, I remember Major Pain. Major Pain was a good movie. Good movie.
One a bit. Oh
What you
God.
said? Yeah, yeah, no, it was different. It was different. I don't know.
Oh man. Now I'm gonna have. Damn it! Now I got it in my head. I'm gonna have to go watch that sometime here, relatively soon. I know I got it somewhere.
I know you reminded me like earlier in the show, you reminded me of that when you was like, well, and you took your hat off and you told me that happened in the in the Navy, and I was like, hey man, look, that's where my brain went automatically.
So some of those
Hey.
kids when they first showed that, yeah. Oh man.
Is that kind of how
Oh
you felt? How you seen the kids on the line after that? How you
yeah.
felt? Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Oh God, yeah. That first like that first haircut and then seeing her like you're kind of like oh, holy crap, it's not there anymore.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. No. I mean, in the future, probably you'll see Joe Trash in a hair versus hair match, but
Yeah, they have quite a bit to take off there.
a lot, a lot.
Like your hair is reminding me of like not so much right now, but like early Carlito in WWE.
Uh, yeah, I got in that from a couple of people, that's for sure. And crazy enough, his family actually lives a town down from mine in Puerto Rico.
Mm, cool.
Yeah, so hopefully one day, man, when I go to vacation, I'll probably go over there visit IWA or somewhere where Carlito is at. And I'm like, hey man, you stole my hairstyle.
That's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool at all. Hell no, I'm not a cool guy.
All right. Next up, one of my favorites, being the fan of the hardcore style, and this guy's a very intense individual, but hey, that's what some of us love about him. The notorious 187 Homicide.
Yeah, Homicide is another entity of his own. Man, the I have respect for Homicide for the simple fact that coming from the gritty, that is New York, and whether that's Brooklyn, Yonkers, wherever you are, the dude made it. We all have different ideas of success. We all have different views on what that looks like.
Mhm.
To me, it's when you are sitting here and people are making, memorial shows for you, but not in the sense of you passing away. They're giving you your flowers as you're still alive. To me,
Yeah.
that's like, that shows you're a legend. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
most definitely. It's one thing, it's cool seeing, people paying respects to, people that are no longer with us. But when you're still here and people are still paying tribute to you in that type of a fashion, that's when you got something special.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. If people are sitting here and whether that's early on in your career or later on in your career, when a person comes up to you and tells you they are inspired by you, that's definitely a milestone. I'm pretty sure every wrestler plans on hitting one day. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I talk a lot of garbage, so people tend to boo the hell out of me. Yeah.
All right. Last but not least here, I've actually got to meet this guy on a couple of occasions and actually done a short little video promoting the channel with him at the last show I saw him at. A fellow veteran, although me Navy, but him being a Marine, Macklin. Steve Macklin.
Steve Macklin, yeah, yeah. I've actually seen Steve Macklin, not in person. I've seen him recently wrestling, like close by, and I was like, holy crap! I need to try to make sure to get to that. And definitely, I've seen him a lot in TNA. I've seen him he's the thing that I like about seeing his work is the same thing as I've said over and over, man. Is the when you're able to blur those lines.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yep. And the funny thing with him and some other people that have leaned more towards the heel side of things is, at least for the most part, there's been a bunch of them that behind the camera, cameras off, are some of the absolute nicest people you could ever hope to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Macklin was one of them. Another guy we all know that he's not doing so much of the heel side of things, but we've seen what he's capable of in talking about Swerve.
Yeah.
And that initial feud with Hangman and him playing one sadistic son of a bitch. But it's like you talk to him outside of, cameras off, one of the coolest people.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought up Swerve. Swerve was one of the people that visited the academy that I'm in.
Mm.
That was WWX, World Wrestling Extreme here in the Bronx. They were having a show, and they have it on their Facebook and on their Instagram. It's a picture, and you see Swerve inside of our gym. I feel like that inspired a lot of the guys inside of our gym to keep that work up, and seeing somebody who's made it. For me personally, I wasn't there that day because I would have asked him to step inside the ring.
Oh, hey, you get a shot to, you test your metal for the, trying to figure out a good way to put it, but test your metal against a guy of his caliber that's been there, Lucha Underground, WWE, AEW now, and looking at all the stuff he's been accomplishing. The dude, like, I knew from back in Lucha Underground, like, oh, that guy's special. And then the stuff he had initially in NXT, I'm like, oh, dude, this guy's he just needs that one little thing to catch on. And then he found that in AEW. And oh my God, I'm like,
It's
I
crazy.
know eventually nobody really keeps a title forever, but there's that one part of a fan in me that's like, oh man, I don't know if I ever want to see him lose it.
I understand what you mean because I feel the same way. I don't want him to lose it until I take it off her.
Mm. I like it. I like it.
The way I honestly see it, and with everybody that you've also named so far, besides the people who, of course, are not with us any longer or out of the sport, I hope to one day fight each and every one of them.
That would
What's
be awesome.
what's that saying? Iron sharpens iron,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Definitely. All right. So now I got some random questions, some wrestling related, some might not be, some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Got it.
So first answer that pops into your head. All right. So first question, craziest in match moment for you.
Oh man, craziest match moment for me was honestly two moments. It was when I got this,
That, yeah.
and also when it was recent. I had an I Quit match with Dylon, the Professor Woodward. He's also working at 5DP and 5 Star, yeah, 5 Star Pro Wrestling. Um, we had a I Quit match. This is also why I had to quit my other job because this loser wants to come and make me feel uncomfortable, according
Mm.
to his nerd ways. Uh, the way I see it, There was a person who we were in. I'm at a loss for words even talking about it. We were having a match. I was about to kill him. Kill him. That's my brother, but he brought it upon himself, putting me in this situation. And I had the chair raised, and he just kicked me in the dick. Dude sucks. Dude sucks. Uh, as soon as that happened, for I just it was a blur. And then he says, I know you won't quit. I know you'd rather die. So I know another way that I can make you quit. All of a sudden, his group, the Revolution, he calls for them, and here comes my girlfriend.
Oh,
He brings her into the ring. They basically put her in front of me, and he says, you have 3 seconds to make your decision. And in the count of three, I bash her fucking skull in. Excuse my language. But
no, hey, there's that
honestly,
whole thing,
it
talking like a
enrages me.
sailor.
It enrages me. It enrages me, man. It enrages
Yo,
me.
no, totally
That's what I'm saying
understandable.
before. She's not a part of any of this. You know what I'm saying? So to kind of see her just come through those curtains, and you're like, my hand and my arm and shoulder are stuck under a chair, which he's having his partner basically hold that chair and hold my shoulder down as he's talking all of this bull crap, honestly, because that's all that spews out of his mouth. And seeing my girlfriend right there, and all of that happened. It was definitely an insane moment. But best believe, karma will strike back.
Well, most definitely. Hell, that kind of reminds me of, I've told people that, yeah, I'm generally like a big old teddy bear. Man, I don't really hate anybody, but there's really two buttons, and I never really go into them, because I always tell people, you know, you never, nobody ever knows, because I don't tell them what those are, but when you press them. And then I'll go from a teddy bear to a goddamn grizzly in about 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. As I told them, best believe I told them, hell's coming.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we'll go on to maybe a little bit happier of a note here. So wrestling, whether on the independents or national TV, there's a lot of travel, a lot of car travel, and a lot of times something that people do to pass the time is with different playlists. Music tends to, it'll be a motivating factor. It'll be something to soothe the soul. What would you say is some songs that you would have on a playlist, like a road trip playlist?
For me, I have a certain band that I went to one of their shows, and man, an experience like no other. I was inside of a pit. I got elbowed on the side of the head. I had to get out for a certain moment, go to the bathroom, check if I'm leaking. I'm all right. I'm right back in there. It's Show Me the Body. It's a band that's made up of different people, but it's mostly a movement. It's kind of the same in relations to the message that I'm trying to send through, us as human beings. There's a lot of garbage in this world, but it takes us to be better. You know what I'm saying? So definitely Show Me the Body is one of those people that any song you put on, and I promise you, you are going to be ready to rip somebody's head off. Besides that, if they say you gotta relax just as hard as you fight, and those out, I'm a yacht rock man, bro. I'm a yacht rock man. So yeah, soothing things that I could listen to while I'm drinking on mimosa and out in the ocean type thing. Also fishing if you ever want to go fishing.
Yes. What, I do like going fishing, but yeah, I've not been able to go nearly as much as I might like to. But yeah, it's a good time, just you have a few beers, you just sit back and maybe you catch a lot of stuff, maybe you don't.
Go from drinking at Mo's to drinking with Mo.
Yes. but yeah, me, I know if I'm wanting motivated, I actually have a playlist on my phone that, for motivation. But then I also have my relaxing stuff.
Mhm.
I'm from Nebraska, so not to say everybody from Nebraska is a country music fan, but yeah, I am one. And I've been lucky enough to meet a few of my favorites. I've actually, you know, hell, one story that just actually popped up on my Facebook memories recently. A few years ago, I was going to a show for one of my personal favorites, and I was like, I want to see how close I can get because it was an all general admission show. And I get there, partway through the show, he's like, asking where his beer drinkers are at. And I'm just like, woo! And
So
then he starts pointing over towards, my general direction. I'm like, he ain't pointing at me. Is somebody back behind me? This is one of those things where, like, I think somebody's waving at me, but no, they're pointing at somebody behind me.
yeah.
No, before I know it, he's helping security guys get me over the barricade. And then, I end up shotgunning a beer on stage with him. And
That's wild.
I still got the can.
Hey man, yeah. I understand what it's like to keep hold of the memories like that, man. Oh yeah.
Though, hell, that same show later on, he pointed back at me, but then he literally grabs a guitar that one of his band members was playing, and then I see him motioning for something to write with. Long story short, I got the autographed guitar hanging up on my wall back there.
Oh wow. And that's something. That's something you could even it's playable.
Yeah.
Oh dude, that's sick. That's even more sick.
Oh yeah.
The only
Oh man.
that give me one
Okay.
second. That's okay.
Gotcha.
So, all right. The first ever wrestling show that I ever went to was AEW's what was it called? I forgot what they have the Grand Slam. There you go. Grand Slam.
Okay, Grand Slam, yeah.
Yeah. AEW Grand Slam. That was in the US Open tennis court, right?
Yeah, the Arthur Ashe Stadium, right?
Stadium, yes. So that was one of my very first things that I had ever really gone to, and I was able to really know what was happening because I don't really count the times when I went as a kid. You don't really
Yeah.
there, and you're like, whoa, but yeah. So I had gone there, and originally I had planned to go with a group of people, but those people bailed. So I went by myself because you're not stopping me. So,
Hell yeah.
and it's a wrestling show, man. I had been waiting for this for months, and when I go over there, man, it was honestly, I still have the ticket, and it's
Nice.
wasted. This is wasted out, but I've always kept that because that was around the same time that I had decided to pursue my love for wrestling. And going to that show really inspired me, considering that I got to see Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan have a outstanding Iron Man match. One of my favorite moments in that match is when he lion suplexes Daniel Bryan on the walkway, which I was like,
Oh yeah.
his neck is messed up, but you're gonna. I'm like, all right, cool. I got to see CM Punk when around the first time that he had came to AEW, so everything was still big. I still haven't got my CM Punk shirt, so AEW, you're garbage. But yeah, no, there was a lot of that definitely made a moment, and so I feel you when it comes to keeping like little.
Oh yeah. And
Memories.
you bring up first ever wrestling shows. I actually have a signed figure from one of the people that was in my first ever pro wrestling show I ever went to. It was a WWE house show, and here I actually met him last summer. Rikishi or Head Shrinker Fatu.
Oh wow! And he's
I got to tell him. I got to tell him the story about He was in my first ever WWE show I ever went to, and it was the Head Shrinkers versus Owen Hart and Coco Beware.
Beware. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard Coco Beware before.
He was the guy that came out with, he would come out with the macaw, the parrot, and stuff. It was more probably before your time, actually.
Hey man, you're old. I get it. You're old.
I yeah, and I just turned another year old a little like a week or so ago.
Well, your birthday was a week ago. Hey man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy super late birthday.
All right. Now, next up, I know I am not a picky eater at all, but I definitely have stuff that I consider like my absolute favorites. Like you don't have to convince me to eat this stuff. But that words are hard. What would you say is a favorite food of yours?
And don't worry about stumbling your words. People stumble their words all the time when they see. Uh, I like junk food. I love junk food. So when it comes to French fries, when it comes to and all of those, hey, look, I know it's probably not appropriate for YouTube, but food porn, yes. I follow a lot of pages on my Instagram that just show, cheese slices, just and you see the string. Oh man.
It's some of those. It's almost like that ASMR stuff where they're like just doing the
Just
like
doing it, but with the food.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
No, I
seeing
know what you're talking
stuff,
about
yeah.
there, man.
Oh yeah, food. Look, food is love. In my life and in everybody's life, I feel food is love. Food is
Yeah.
for you to show love or hate, honestly. Because
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that Mama Trash used to do when I was younger, that I used to see her do, was if there was ever anybody that she didn't like, and for some reason they made it into her house, so she would make these ice cubes with hot dog water.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah. She make ice cubes with hot dog water. Use hot dog water, and if she don't like you, your
You're
water
getting that.
tastes a little weird. Yeah, your water, your lemonade was tasting a little weird. That's for sure.
Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah. No, definitely don't want to be on her bad side.
Mama Trash is actually a funny person. Mama Trash. Mama Trash said prime time wrestling, and she told them. She sends me a screenshot. I got this yesterday, I believe. Mama Trash sends me a screenshot, and she's like, "I texted them. I don't know if they got it." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I look at the screenshot, and it's her on a picture of Joe Clean that they posted on their story, and her replying, "Hi, I'm Mama Trash. My son Joe Trash is way better." Now I understand where the trash talk comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mama Trash is a good person.
That's awesome. Yeah, my wife is definitely that sort of type that the way, well, hell, that whole side of my in-laws and stuff. With them, it's like if they aren't you know teasing you, talking trash, giving you shit, if they're not doing that with you, they don't like you.
Nope. If
Luckily, they like me just fine.
Hell yeah. If I treat you with all professionalism and just here to do my job, I most likely I'm disassociated from that person inside the ring as a human being. As long as you're stepping inside this ring with me, you're garbage. You see what I'm saying? So my job is to take you out, whether that's in a garbage bag or not in a garbage bag. Either way, I'm here to do my job. But with the people that I do, came up in this with and all of that, we definitely have a lot of issues. Don't we all? You know what I'm saying? But we hash those out. It sometimes get a little bit crazy, but hey, man, that's love.
It happens.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, yeah, because hell, going before the next question, I definitely have those things that, my wife and I go out to eat, and, we get to the menus, and she's literally said this to me before. You don't need a menu. You know what you're having. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. But hey,
I
look, if you want to look at new stuff, come on.
exactly. All
Lord
right.
knows, Lord knows if today you choose to be a little different.
Yeah, hey, yeah, you never know. You
Oh, yeah.
never know. All right. Next up, I've talked, some of my hobbies, signed figures and stuff. Whoops, that about fell down. All right. What are some hobbies you have, if any? Because I know staying in like in ring shape and all that and just the regular, travel and everything involved in wrestling can take up a lot of time.
That is very true. When it comes to this wrestling industry, I'm like I said, I'm very passionate, but you also, like I said before, too, have to relax just as hard as you train. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
I have the moment to relax or take a day off, I'll be honest with you, man. I like being in the wild, bro. I like being in the wild. I don't use an actual gun, considering that we are, in
Yeah.
places they're not exactly allowed. I bought a BB rifle, and sometimes I'll just be shooting in the backyard, practicing on my aim. Because, hey, man, when you have a person that you're with and their aim is way better than yours,
Yeah.
I had
That's a little disheartening for
to,
sure.
I had to take a step back and kind of show her who's boss. You know what I'm saying? And,
Mm-hmm.
nah, yeah, but the mostly that I do sometimes tend to go with pops, and you'll see me refer to pops a lot, especially whenever I post stuff that is meant to be inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
Pops is basically my mentor, the person who taught me how to be just an average Joe,
Yeah.
and Pops takes me four wheeling and mudding and all that type of stuff. So hey, man, when it comes to fun, extreme. That's fun for me. Hell yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like I said, my hobbies are maybe a little more pain. But I been when growing up, it was always pro wrestling or Ninja Turtles for me. I've been rebuilding my Ninja Turtle collection from growing up.
Okay.
My wrestling stuff, my Funko Pops. I even got some sports ones. I found out they were doing ones for charity from when Jason Kelsey ripped his shirt off at the Bills Chiefs game. I actually have it.
Right. That
I
goes
was
for
like, I heard they were doing that. I'm like, I have to have that. And
one
just
question.
just random
Really.
shit. Like I got souvenir shot glasses is another thing. Like
I
I
do have a
even got
quick
it.
question. I do have a quick question, and it
Okay.
pertains to the pops.
Okay.
I have been told by some of my friends that some of those actually tend to build up in price like later on.
So yeah, some of them can.
So that's actually pretty sick. I never thought about it that way.
I have a few signed ones actually that I'm rather proud of. One from Kevin Clash, the guy behind Splinter from the first two Ninja Turtle movies. I
He
got a
signed
spl-
your
I got a Splinter one signed by him.
That's tough. That
I have a Michelangelo one. Oh shit! All right, technical difficulties they happen. But I was mentioning the Michelangelo Funko Pop. I got signed by the guy that voiced Michelangelo from the original cartoon.
Oh, these are yeah. Okay. I thought you were gonna say the first live action film, but you went all the way back to the cartoon for real.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the guy that voiced Michelangelo from the original cartoon. And I actually, a couple months before this person unfortunately took their own life, talking about mental health and everything, the Green Ranger one signed by Jason David
Oh,
Frank.
wow. Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. That's actually pretty cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that I
And
was
that one got signed too.
yeah, this one's signed. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I remembered a friend of mine was telling me, "Oh, you hear he's going to be coming to town?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I
Yeah.
want to go." And then literally you hear about, with autographed items, people talking about certificates of authenticity and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Well, the picture I got with Jason David Frank is one that I point to when it comes to, well, he's literally holding this like the morphin things they do in the TV show. I'm like, certificate of authenticity. There.
But
He's
there you
literally holding it.
go, holding it. Yeah. For real. I mean, I have two. I got you. Go
Okay.
get this. Funny that you were talking about this earlier too. This guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I need to get one of him, actually.
This one is the special edition that came with the puppets and all of that stuff. Uh,
Nice.
so I'm very grateful for that. The other thing that I have was also another one of the first shows that I went to. I got to meet Boogeyman. Boogeyman was always one of my
Ooh.
favorite people inside the ring. The energy he brought, the
Yeah.
worldness. Whenever you would see him, smash that
Mhm.
clock and all of that.
Yeah.
Um, I got to meet him, and I got a shirt. Okay, so this is actually pretty cool and very trashy of me, if I don't mind. Bragging a little bit. We went to the show. He was charging, I believe, it was $50 for the whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
he was charging for an autograph, picture, and something else. Not only did I get an autograph for free on the back of my shirt, I had the WrestleMania, I believe, 25, I want to say, shirt on. I can't remember exactly right now, but it had him on the back when he was fighting. And he signed it, and I also got to be a part of the show. So I
Nice.
always tell people, they ask me, they're like, hey, man, where Joe Trash come from? Oh, all of that garbage. I always tell them I got to eat a worm with Boogeyman. So probably that little worm is somewhere inside of here making a mess.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, this next question I have here kind of answered it a little bit, but with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't ask it. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non or shit, one of each.
Oh, man, you give me a Jack Daniels bottle and you give me a ring. Hell yeah. Nah. I'm joking. Because I don't step inside the ring inebriated in any sort of way because it's,
Yeah.
people's lives at risk. And at the end
Oh,
of the day,
totally.
to work the next day. You know what I mean? But
Totally.
whenever it comes time to also relax, and I'm just at home throwing my feet up, some whiskey,
Hey,
whiskey, Hennessy, straight.
okay.
Oh
Nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. I've been more of a beer guy myself, but I do enjoy some whiskey every now and then. I
oh,
won't lie.
oh
And
yeah.
then I'm also a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend, I'll admit. I'll admit it.
uh, I like Dr.
I'm
Pepper too. Oh, it's the barbecue of sodas.
mm, I've you know what? I've heard people talk about it like that, and I'm like, I just I do a Homer Simpson impression. I'm just like, barbecue soda.
Soda, hell yeah.
I'm like,
That's
I can't help it.
Dr.
I'm
Pepper
part
is.
of why it's the number two soda brand in the country. I
Okay.
have helped out with that.
Yeah, I got a question for you, real quick,
Yeah.
and I don't know if people are usually the ones that ask you a little something, some questions, but to accompany a drink, you gotta have a snack. What kind of
Mm.
snack?
Oh boy.
Like candy wise, like are you a chocolate person or are you more of a
I
type person.
If there's one of two ways this could go, there is the chocolate that I like with the, it's either Reese's peanut butter cups or they got those Reese's sticks. I love those. Or the purple bag of Doritos, the sweet chili ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I could tear through a bag of those like nothing.
For real. You give me a jar of Nutella and a spoon, brother. It's I'm living.
I got
Hazelnut
all right.
chocolate. Hazelnut chocolate is obsession. An unhealthy obsession, but an obsession.
It can be. All right. Last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
All right. One of the things I take pride in myself as a person is that I'm very real. I keep things very blunt. I don't have to lie to you. And especially a person not, the viewers, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody. If you are looking to get into the sport, make sure that you are trying to reach something. Because if you are just getting into the sport for funs and giggles, this is not the sport for that. This sport is very serious. This sport's take dedication, work, hard work, and a lot of sacrifices. So if you are not willing to sit here and put yourself through the gritty and go through the motions and have all of this stuff and not let any of that disturb you from your goal and your path you're trying to reach, then by all means, I welcome you inside those four ropes. I just hope, and I hope from the bottom of my heart, if I had one, that they never step inside the ring with me.
Because they're going to get taken out with the trash.
Yes, sir.
All right. All righty. Well, that is about all I have. I can hear my dog rumbling around, probably ready for dinner. So I better go get taken care of him. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on Joe Trash, they can go ahead and get them there.
All right. Well, if you go to my Instagram, you can find my Instagram at Joe_TR4SH. That's Joe_Trash. I have a link in the bio there that leads to every single one of my other links. If you cannot find me there, you can find me on Instagram. On Instagram, sorry. You can find me on Facebook under Jose Martinez or Joe Trash. If you find me there, there's also the link tree where you can find not only my other socials, but I recently, put out merch. And let's be honest, people are used to buying garbage on a daily anyways. So how about they spend their money on something that's actually worth it and actually makes them look? That's trash merch for you. So whenever you have time, go over there, get yourself a trash shirt. And if you ever see me in a show, I'll probably sign it, but I ain't going to thank you for
it. All right. We'll get all of that in the description. Like I said, that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there, Primetime Pro Wrestling and beyond, and, getting your revenge on the knockoff Mr. Clean.
That's for sure. I appreciate you, brother, for the opportunity to be on the show and get to show, the people a little bit more about Joe Trash. And that's for sure. Hopefully I'll be drinking at Moe's once again soon.
Oh, most definitely. You're welcome back anytime.